it's MK and I am back for another Scraptember 2022 layout prompt, and today's prompt is a die cut, a cut file, or punches. Now I did take some Stampin' Up! Blends in Dark Daffodil Delight and Dark Mango Melody to color in my glittered title. And what I used for this title, I can't remember. I have to go get them real quick. Please hold. But they were white originally, so it's this thicker set in, oh, I missed it, you guys. I think it said Savvy. I'm not sure. But they were originally white, and I mixed them up a little bit so that way they were two-toned yellow, so to speak. Then I'm going to use my gilding wax in gold on this layout as well. And I have two Stickles glitter gels that aren't even open. One is called Solar Flare, and then I have this one. And I was looking for the sticker for it, and I don't know where it's at, but it is Starshine, and there's no stars whatsoever in that little tub, but I wanted to mix them up, even though I really can't tell the difference when I do. Okay, then I also pulled out two trims because I'm not entirely sure which trims I would like to use. So I have this one here that is printed on, and then the other one was a little lacy bit, just for something different. And for one of my die cuts that I'm going to be using, I die cut these out of a slimline rectangle dealio. I love making frames with these guys, so I have a bunch of those. Then I went into my yellow stash and pulled out some Project Life cards, some tags, labels, things like that that I had sticking around. And then, of course, I pulled out all of my yellow flare that I own from Dottie About Flare. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use yet. Also from my die cuts, I have this little light bulb that is actually cut out of a stencil. So I stenciled it and then colored it and then cut it out. And then the chain is also a die cut from, I think a Primavera, not Primavera, I apologize, Prima die set. I have 3 photos, a black cardstock, and then this cardstock here, it's a little blurry because I wasn't sure, but it's basil marshmallow paper. And I wanted to prove to you guys that at one point in time, it was marshmallow. It was white. But what I did was I sprayed it with water, and then I put those little sprinkles on it. That's what Stampin' Up! Calls their colors. They're sprinkles. And then just colored it yellow. That's all I did. And it's been in my stash for quite a while because I was making, I don't know what they're called. Oh my gosh, I forgot what they were called. But they were flowers that are a die from Stampin' Up! And I was using that as one of the layers of those flowers. So I stopped doing that. I was making them for my thank you gifts for the shop. And then I have to apologize, you guys. The shop has gotten so busy. Truth be told, it has gotten so busy that I can't keep up with making my own embellishments and sending out those as thank yous. So I want to apologize because the last couple orders, actually a bunch of last orders, have not had little thank yous in them. I'm working on another option for that, you guys. I swear I'm working on another option. All right, so I've got my 3 photos. I trimmed them down so that way I have 1/8 of an inch of yellow showing through, ripped one side of my yellow paper, and then I'm going to take my ruler on the ripping side. Now this side actually has a bar in it, so I can rip it, I can score it, I can use my X-Acto knife, all that stuff. It's got a little metal bar in it. I absolutely love this ruler, you guys. It's my favoriteest thing in the whole wide world. But I do have to say that I also rip it, you know, in and out, in and out, in and out, you know, and wiggle it so that way I don't get such a straight, perfect rip, right? I don't want it to be perfect. And then I took my distress tool, distressed both sides, and now I'm going to take a pencil and mark where my border is going to go, or my yellow piece is going to go, so that way I can do my mixed media. And the first thing I'm going to do is open up my gilding wax. This one is going to be at the bottom of my mixed media, and I'm just going to take a stippling brush and swirl it around and make it look like it's glowing almost. And then of course I'm going to rub it in with my fingers. That way I get that more of that hazy look. And I went really thick where I really wanted my title to start because that's where my light bulb is going to go. And then I tried to go a little lighter in other areas because, you know, that I wanted it to make it look like my light bulb was actually brightening up the layout. you know, it was an effect. So then I went ahead and did the same exact effect on the bottom, only I wanted it a little less hazy because, again, I wanted it darker where my light bulb was. So I didn't want it as intense, I should say. All right, so after I have, you know, brought in my gilding wax, I'm going to open up my stickles for the very first time. Don't ask me how long I've had them. I won't admit it. And then go ahead and start with the Starshine and go ahead and put this down. Now, this is so iridescent. It is awesome, you guys. It's got blue. It's got orange. It's got yellow. It's got green in it. I mean, it is the flaky thingies that make it so sparkly is just different. I'm going to have to say. Now, normally I don't go for this whole sparkle, shine, shimmer stuff. I just don't. I like it a little, I like color, but I don't like girly color. And so the effect that I was really going for is gold on the walls. So when my light bulb shines, I want it to shine and sparkle the gold that possibly is in the walls. And the reason is because I am in a underground mine shaft. Back in the day when I forgot what it was called. It's not the Comstock. It's the other one. The Collar mine was actually open, and well, it still is open because it now is tours. But they said that the veins were so rich in the Comstock and the Collar mine in Virginia City that you could walk in and shine your candle and the walls shimmered like gold. And so that is what I was portraying on my layout, and that's why I wanted all of this sparkle and shine on my layout. There's a reason for that. So while that is off drying, I decided to work on my panel a little bit, but then I realized I can't really do a whole lot until I actually get to the layout. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out which trim I really want to stick out. Again, the trim is just for added texture. This layout's going to be very, very flat other than a couple flare added. So I have to tell you guys that I don't like, you know, I call them one-sided flatness, where you only have one element that gives dimension. I like dimension in several areas, and the distress tool adds a little bit of dimension. The fibers add a little bit of dimension, and the flare add dimension. So there's dimension all the way around instead of just having dimension, you know, in one spot, just having the flare as dimension. So anywho, going to go ahead and add my photos to this panel, and then I have decided how I'm going to add my trim. What I did for the, because I went with the barbed wire printed trim, and actually that was, I don't even know where I got this trim, you guys. But what I did to make it look a little rough around the edges is I took my scissors to one side and only one side, and I just sat there and cut it so close to the actual burlap, or to the barbed wire, that it looks jagged and it's kind of starting to fray. I love that, how that looks. All right, so then I'm going to take my frames and just start layering them down, because I wanted them to look like the framework that is holding this tunnel up, in all honesty. So to be honest, when you get into this tunnel, there's actually another tunnel that goes off into another direction. That one has caved in, and so it's blocked off. You can't go in there and all that stuff. But the reason why they want you to go through this tunnel is because of, these are the original support beams back in the 1800s, from when this tunnel was first originally opened. And it's the design of how the beams are held together is what is making it so sturdy and so popular. I also have a layout about just the support beams alone. Well, it's not a layout, but I've got photos of the support beams. It's not going to be its own layout by all means, but I wanted the frames to portray the support beams in a way, even if it doesn't make any sense at all. I do like how they look, and I like how wonky they come out of my panel. So I'm going to go ahead and affix my lights, and I'm just using it down on some dead space. It's also, you know, covering up some yucky bits and pieces that I really didn't want seen. But the photo on the left is us going into the cave, and what they did was they turned on these lights, these artificial lights that they have running to the back, so that way people, when they get there, it's not so scary. But then when you're in the when you're actually back there where the work is being done, they turn it off, and it's only lit by candlelight, because that's how the miners back in the day experienced it. They didn't have artificial light like we do now. So just to let you guys know that. And then the photo on the far right is us exiting. In fact, that's my husband in shadow in the sunlight when you exit. And they say to exit really slow so your eyes can acclimate from being in the dark and then going straight into the sunlight. So yes, and we were about 140 feet into the mountain. That's how far this cave goes. It's quite a walk, and you actually have to be hunched over the entire time. So you can't stand up straight until you actually get back to where all of the mining is going on, and then you can stand up straight in a few areas. There's other areas where you cannot, but yeah, it's really super cool. It's actually very cold down there, so that's another thing that we also had to, like, we're sitting in there, and some of us were freezing because all we had are tank tops and shorts on throughout the entire presentation. And then when we get out there, you're just gushed with 116 degree temperatures. It's nasty. So it was kind of cool to see all that stuff. And then the center photo is my husband and I going down into the heading towards the first part of the tour, I should say, heading towards where the mining all goes on. So I just titled it Going Underground because I thought it was pretty cool. My husband's always wanted to go and do an underground tour of a mine. I've been in the underground of active mines, like the ones that we do today, but this one was actually really cool because we got to see all the hydraulic, they call them drills, but they look more like jacks, where they're not going up and down. They're actually drilling into it. We got to see, the candles that they stuck in the wall, so that way they could see where they're actually taking a whatever it's called, a pickaxe is what it's called, not pitch, sorry, and just digging holes. I mean, it was so neat and so awesome. How they did all this. And then of course they also had a shaft, so the deeper they got, there's actually a shaft in the center of this underground, so you could look down it, and they sent people even further down into the earth. And so that was super awesome, you guys, and showed us the winch and all that stuff, and the bell that sends you, lets you know that it's coming down, it's time to go up, all that good stuff. I absolutely loved this, you guys, and I loved how it all turned out. So to finish off this layout, I took some, I think it's Dina Wakley in Gilt, which is her gold, and just splattered a little bit here and there and everywhere. It just blends in with everything else that I have going on. But I love this yellow on yellow layout. I don't really do this very often, but I had fun doing this yellow on yellow layout. And I might do other colors. I'm not sure. No pink. But I might do other colors. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, truly appreciate it. Please be sure to check out everyone else that is hanging out in the Facebook group. All of those layouts are fabulous, you guys. I love just going off of a prompt and seeing how people run with it. I absolutely love that. Also, too, be sure to check out the playlist and everyone else that is sharing their creations here on YouTube. And yeah, I'll check y'all later.